thank you. Two Corridale, two long wool, 2 second shear. Our referee says we can go. She's just given us the last wave of the finger. We're off. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet these competitors on table number 1. Turn around. Minoa from Cook Islands. Joanne Kumara from New Zealand on table 2. Rachel Hutchison here on table 3 of Australia. And Stefanie Koschitz from Germany on table number 4. All right, timekeepers ready. Judges ready. Competitors, get set, go. The long-awaited tussle of the Open semi-final here for the World Woolhandling Championships. 2 heats, just like the Shearers. And out of here will come the finalists to take us through this. Norm Haraway, Tuma Mullins, and George, is it? Have you got a microphone, George, or not? But Norm and Tuma, this is going to be something else, I'm sure. We're going to see some pretty good wool handling here. They have 2 Corridales, which the shearers are shearing now, the fine wool sheep. 2 long wool sheep, crossbreds with 12 months wool on them, and then 2 seconds here to finish off between each of those wool types. Tuma will actually count down 15 seconds for the shearers to go back in. Tuma.
Yes, that's right, Phil. These wool handlers have got a heck of a big task on their hands at the moment. We've got 21 different little baskets around the wool table. 21, so that's 21 different lines of wool that'll be coming off in the next sort of 15 minutes. And these wool handlers have got to put a piece of wool, an oddment as we call it, in each one of these baskets. So a heck of a job for these wool handlers, but they're all world-class athletes. That's why they're here, and I know that they're up to it, Norm.
Well, they certainly are, Toma. With each of these qualifying rounds, we have a step up in intensity, a step up in pressure, a wee bit more for these competitors to do, a wee bit harder for them to work. We want the top 4 competitors in the final. We're going to push them along. We're going to make them work for their places so we can find a true champion later on. Almost ready for the first fleeces to come off, these beautiful big Corridale ewes. Mid-micron fleeces these ones are. Me Noroa on table number 1. Making sure the table is clean. Joanne Kumiroa on table 2 for New Zealand. Are you from New Zealand, folks? Give her a hand. What a fantastic throw on table number 2. Good one from Rachel Hutchison. Me Noroa. Not bad either. Stefanie Koschitz, the German girl down on there on table number 4, just making sure she's got it gathered up properly, flicks it out, lays it out nicely on that table, a wee bit hanging over the edge. She'll be hoping for a better one next time. I think Joanne and Rachel probably had the better throws there, George, out of those first 2.
Yeah, it looked like they might just have that better throws, but it's all on here now. The World Wool Handling semi-final. What a task, what an honour it would be to get through to this big final here. But even the cheap track of all these boxes and odd bent bins, it's a big job in itself without any wool handling. So it's a serious task here. But our super athletes here of the wool handling world, so that's what they're here for. They just want to get through to that big final. Now they have to really work hard. They all still have that fleece on the table, but they have to be back with the shear as well. They really need eyes in the back of the head there to keep up with this. Just to keep track of those boxes. Where do you put the different oddments, the different bits and pieces? Where do they go? Now do you come back to the fleece? You have to watch the shear as well. And away to go here. The World Wool Handling semi-final. Golden Shears, World Wool Handling semi-final. This is a real test here for these wool handlers. And what an honour it will be for the top 4 to get through to the Golden Shears Wool Handling final later on this evening.
Yes, George, you're dead right. These wool handlers have got a heck of a big task. These fleeces are huge. It looks like they need bigger tables. We've got the second Corridale fleece coming off at the moment. In between the Corridale and the first of the full wool crossbred will be 45 seconds. In between the crossbred long wool and the second shear is 15 seconds. Not a lot of time for these wool handlers to do it. But hey, they're world-class athletes, like I say.
You count us down, Toma, as we're finishing the second Corridale. There'll be what do you say, Toma, 15-second gap.
45 seconds from the Corridale to
45.
the 4.
Noro, nice throw on table number 1. Another great
10
one
seconds.
from Joanne Kumuro as well. Back up on the board, making sure it's all swept, all cleaned up. They're having a bit of a start-up. Making sure the floors
20 seconds.
Won't be long before they get back on the table and start skirting that last of those corridor fleeces. Stephanie Koshis from Germany down there.
30
making
seconds.
sure her baskets are all sorted. Rachel Hutchinson down on her knees
10,
under the table.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, guys, out with the crossbred for wool.
Unbelievable. The pressure going on now. The New Zealand competitor, Joanne Kumiroa, no stranger to this World Championship task. Nerves of steel, that girl on table number 2. Nerves of steel. Been put under this pressure a lot of times before. She's made a lot of finals. Represented New Zealand in the past. Here she is again up there. Mick Noroa, though, well organised. The man on table number 1 from the Cook Islands. Fleece in the basket already, George. He's right on top of his game.
Yes. Now the real pressure is on, but we've table number 1 already cleared here. This is a wonderful semi-final. What a task here. So many different lines of wool, different breeds of sheep to be looked after. This is the real test. This is just what a world semi-final shall be, to make sure the top 4 gets through to that big world final. They're really being put to the paces here. Now they have to really work. Just look at Australia there on 4. Just that big fleece goes into the basket now. Germany right there as well. And New Zealand there with all the experience on table number 2. The roll-up is on, but making sure there's going to leave nothing there for the judges to take off. This is a real spectacle here. And of course this wool is the harvest from the fleece, and that's why it's done so professionally and looked after so well. What a wonderful spectacle here to watch. The Golden Shears World Wool Handling semi-final, from which the top 4 will go through to the final. Just watch Joanne there now with the broom. She goes back now, and we'll watch for another throw here. We'll have a good look at the throw we're going to happen. Yes, table 1. Yes, a good throw. And Joanne, let's look at that for a throw.
Beautiful.
And Australia there as well on table 3. Absolutely beautiful. Now we'll just watch Germany down there on 4. The fleece is picked up and the throw is just going to take place. A big fleece, but quite a good throw as well there. Now it's all on here for the semi-final, for the top 4 to get through to that final, Tomo.
Oh, looking at this, Rachel Hutchinson from Australia. She had an awesome throw. She is a heck of a competitor. She wants to make that final. We got Stephanie Koshis from Germany, table number 4. Round the fleece she works, the head wool, the neck wool. There's wool coming off everywhere. There's a lot of cross-contamination that these judges are looking for. Well, they're really trying to find some, but there's not a lot here, Norm. These wool handlers are taking the pressure and soaking it up like a sponge.
Oh, they certainly are. Like you said about that contamination, Tuma, different types of wool completely. They have to have them in their right baskets. They have to be very well organised. They have to know exactly where everything's going. They don't want to mix the wool types together, even the pieces. All the pieces, all the oddments to be kept separate. McNaughton, a roll-up time on table number 1. Into the basket it goes. First, long wool crossbreed fleece. Joanne Kumiro just finishing off the skirting on her one. They have to be extremely accurate with the skirting. Right amount out of on the first pieces. Roll up time for her as well. Roll up time down there on table number 4 for Stephanie Koshis, a German competitor. Cook Islands, New Zealand, Australia and Germany. Here we are back on the board. The second of the crossbreed fleeces. Countdown time.
15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, shearers, out with the second shear. This morning, Norm, we saw a young Japanese competitor. He skirted one side of the fleece, turned the table sideways, and pushed it to the back so the unsetted side was closest to the board, and he had plenty of room to work with his second shear. Very, very clever.
Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Using the top 3 inches. When you're under pressure like these competitors are, that's what it's all about. Same as any other sport. Same as any other sport. They Top 3 inches is what counts. That's where the true champions get through. Miki Noroa, table number 1. Joanne Kumador on 2. Sorting out the second share fleeces now. They've left the fleeces on the table of the long wool crossbreds. They'll stay there until they've gone through the second share. They need to be on the board all the time, Georgie.
Yes, it's all on here now. The fleece is still on the table. Who's going to get back there first to roll up? Just the second shear wool there now that's been placed down and it will be blended. But they have just still one fleece each to roll up on that table. Who's going to get back there first? Now the shears are just... But the crowd are too quiet out there. There needs to be a bit of support for these wool handlers. It's a Golden Shears World Semi-Final. Come on, get behind them and cheer them on. Give them a bit of support there. It's all on here. There's just one more sheep to come out now. Now the roll-up is New Zealand and Australia back to the table first there. And who's it going to be? Who's going to get that fleece rolled and into the basket? It's all on here. Come on, cheer them on and give them a bit of support there. Look at Australia going there on table number 3. Look at Joanne now on table 2. She goes back to the shear now. She's not going to let the judge get anything off her there. I can't understand how they can get around here without putting a foot into one of those baskets. It looks like an obstacle course here, really. But away they go. This is a real spectacle. The Golden Shears World Wool Handling Semi-Final. Come on, you people out there. You must have a favourite country. Give them a bit of support and cheer them on. It won't be too long till they're there now. The final sheep is out. And the roll-up is finished here on table 1. Joanne has her fleece. Look at that fleece there. Look at the roll-up. Look at the way she's presenting that fleece. Into the fleece basket it goes. She just moves that table now straight back to the stand again. It's all on here, Tomo, now.
Yes, just looking down the board, it looks like a heck of a mess. He looked like a wool shed that no wool handlers have been in for 100 years. There's wool for miles. But that's the way these judges want it. They want to see how organised these wool handlers can be. At the moment, they're working with their second share. They still need to sweep underneath their tables because there's full wool crossbred second cuts under there. But here we go. We've got 40 seconds. These wool handlers have got 40 seconds to tidy up the board, then it'll be 1 point per second. Here we go. They need to get to the board and they need to give these fleeces what we call the shakedown. They need to get in there and blend all these 2 fleeces into each other so that you cannot see which sheep they came from, Norm.
You're dead right. That's exactly what's happening now. Away they go. Looks fairly aggressive. Stephanie Kosher, she's all over the board again. Rachel Hutchinson, she's a strong competitor from Australia there, very experienced. Joanne Kumador needs no introduction here to Shearing Sports fans. Won't be long now, just the final sweep up. Round under the tables, all these competitors. They've blended their second share fleeces. Rachel Hutchinson, Australia, New Zealand. Time taken for these competitors. Just the Cook Islands and Germany left. McNaughton just blending his fleece quietly. He's already had a sweep up and a clean up. And McNaughton, time taken. Germany, ladies and gentlemen. Stephanie Kosher, heat number 1 of the World Wool Handling Championship, sponsored by Elders Primary Wool, done and dusted.